Good morning everyone. Basa na tayo na ating libro guys. Kapwa ako Filipino, magbasa na tayo. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 15 January 2023. History of the Filipino People Part 4, The American Period. Topic number 15 tayo. This period of suppressed nationalism. Guys, iniisip ko paano ko sa inyo babasahin yung paragraph Suppression of Nationalist parties. Kasi talaga yung pinakahuli nito is yung Federal Party pala. Yung sa paragraph Federal Party guys, kasi yung huli niya is punit. So pagpasensyahan nyo na hindi ko siya mabasa. Look at this. Punit siya. So ang kapalit niyan, ang gagawin ko na lang is yung alam niyo yung pinaka-update ng topic number 15, basahin ko yun sa inyo kasi ito 5th edition ito eh. So basahin ko yung pinaka-update, balikan natin yung ibang version ng ng topic 15 nito. Pero history of the Filipino people pa rin siya ha. So yun, humihingi na ako sa inyo ng paunawa dahil punit nga siya sa dulo. Basa na. Suppression of nationalist parties. The American authorities prohibited the establishment of political parties which favored independence. The Filipinos reacted to this limitation to their political freedoms by modifying the independence platforms of early extremely nationalistic political parties and by campaigning vigorously for autonomy and ultimately for independence. In August 1901, Pascual Poblete organized the Nationalista Party, an entirely different entity from the Nationalista Party founded in 1907, to campaign for self-government and later for independence. Nationalists who served in the Malolos Republic, among whom were Cecilio Apostol, Aguido del Rosario, Santiago Alvarez, Macario Sakay, and Andres Villanueva. Joined the political party. However, Governor William Howard Taft, who looked with disfavor upon political parties with independence platforms, refused to grant recognition to the party unless its platform was revised in. Okay, ulit. However, Governor William Howard Taft, who looked with disfavor upon political parties with independence platforms, refused to grant recognition to the party unless its platform was revised. In 1912, reorganization was effected with Dominador Gomez, Pascual Poblete, and Manuel Artigas as President, Vice President, and Secretary, respectively. The Nationalista Party attempted to secure the approval of Governor Taft, at which the latter pointedly remarked, "Now, if I could impart one lesson to you, it would be to forget politics for 2 years and to take steps only to the uplifting ano ba yan? To take steps only to the uplifting of the agricultural prosperity of the country." In 1902, Jose Maria de la Viña, Leon Maria Guerrero, Alberto Barreto, and Jose Locban founded the Partido Democrata, which, like the first Partido Nacionalista, advocated independence for the Philippines through peaceful means. They failed, however, to secure the approval of Governor Taft, who suggested that they modify their party platform. The organizers followed the suggestion of Taft, but the revised party platform continued to maintain that the chief goal of the party was Philippine independence through legal means, for independence was undeniably the unanimous aspiration of the Filipino people, clearly and evidently set forth not only in the war against Spain, but also in the struggle against the sovereignty of the United States. Taft's recommendation that they delete the... Alam nyo guys, ang hirap maging reader. You see, warp na siya oh. Warp na, hindi na mabasa halos. Sa sobrang kalumaan ba? Okay. Taft's recommendation that they delete the word independence discouraged the organizers of the party. Consequently, they bided for a more propitious time when they could establish the Partido Democrata without compromising their nationalistic principles. There were, however, other political parties which willingly subscribed to the requirements of the civil government. In February 1901, prominent members of the Spanish Mestizo community, among them Macario Adriatico, Gregorio Singian, Francisco Artigas, Enrique Barrera, and Eusebio Renzi organized the Partido Conservador, which promised continued cooperation with the American authorities. It recognized American sovereignty in the Philippines under the Treaty of Paris and advocated for autonomous representative government after peace and order had been restored. While fighting between the Americans and the Filipinos was still raging in many parts of the country, some ranking members of the revolutionary government decided to work for the restoration of peace and order and embraced American role by helping the pacification campaign of General Elwell Otis. The Pacificados, Pacifists, led by Pedro Paterno and Felipe Buencamino, founded the Asociación de Paz, League for Peace. Yung namin nung araw guys, may pagkahalo talagang Espanyol pa kasi nga syempre sinakop din tayo ng Spaniard. Founded the Asociación de Paz, League for Peace. Among the prominent organizers were Cayetano Arellano, Tomas del Rosario, Trinidad Pardo de Tavera, Leon Maria Guerrero, Rafael Palma, Justo Lucban, and Pascual Poblete. When the first Philippine Commission published April 4, 1900 its proclamation of American intentions in the Philippines, the members of the association readily adopted those principles as guidelines of their organization and the basis for the League's reorganization. The Federal Party, ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyong putol guys, so pagpasensya nyo na. The Federal Party, while Aguinaldo and the remnants of the Malolos Republic fled to the highlands of northern Luzon, the Pacificados, in a meeting presided by Florentino Torres on December 23, 1900, renamed the League for Peace the Partido Federal Party. Trinidad Pardo de Tavera, who was elected president of the party, Cayetano Arellano, Florentino Torres, Tomas del Rosario, Jose Ner, Ambrosio Flores, and Frank Burns, an American colleague of Worcester, composed the party directorate. The members of the party, among whom were Pedro Paterno, Felipe Buencamino, Felipe Calderon, Ignacio Villamor, Teodoro Yanco, Benito Legarda, and Baldomero Rojas, constituted a cream of the conservative, well-educated, and moneyed elements of the Filipino-Spanish society at the turn of the 20th century. As the elite of society, they naturally prefer the political advantages and the stability offered by American rule. The Federalistas, or Americanistas, pro-Americans as they were contemptuously called by the Nationalists, adopted a platform of incorporation into the United States or annexation of the Philippines as a state of the Federal Union, a program not unlike that of Rizal and his propagandist associates before the Philippine Revolution of 1896. The party dispatched a resolution dated November 1, 1901 to the United States Congress, which petitioned the latter to make the Philippines an integral part of the United States and to extend to the Philippines the rights and privileges which the Constitution of the United States grants to the other territories, such as that of becoming eventually a state of the Union. In accordance with this platform, the Philippine government would have to undergo two phases: the preliminary phase, during which time the Philippines would acknowledge the sovereignty of the United States, and the constitutional phase, when representation in the American Congress and the Federal Union would be extended to the Philippines. Pardo de Tavera was the prime mover of the campaign for annexation. Though his family had been awarded the title of nobility by the Spanish government, he was a firm believer in the superiority of American culture. He advocated the complete Americanization of the Filipino people, the adoption of the English language, which should be extended and generalized in the Philippines, in order that through its agency the American spirit may take possession of us, and that we may adopt its principles, its political customs, and its peculiar civilizations, that our redemption may be complete and radical. Many Federalistas reiterated the various position, particularly Felipe Buencamino, who petulantly pointed out that I am an American, and all the money in the Philippines, the air, the light, and the sun, I consider American. Look, ulitin natin guys Many Federalistas reiterated Tavera's position, particularly Felipe Buencamino, who petulantly pointed out, warp na kasi kaya mali ako ng basa. Ulit. Many Federalistas reiterated Tavera's position, particularly Felipe Buencamino, who petulantly pointed out that I am an American, and all the money in the Philippines, the air, the light, and the sun, I consider American. The Philippine Commission, the military authorities, and the American leaders in Washington never took seriously the Federal Party's campaign for annexation, and not a few were irritated because they considered the Filipinos a people of an entirely different race and culture and assimilable. Even so, the American officials in the Philippines, particularly Governor Taft, heartily endorsed the Federal Party, for it could be counted upon in the campaign for pacification. The military authorities granted the Federalistas passes into unpacified territories to negotiate for the surrender of the guerrillas. Pardo Ticaberas newspaper La Democrata harped repeatedly in a closer relationship between the Filipinos and the Americans. Members of the party toured the country with the American propaganda teams, and through their influence helped convince the whole municipalities to withdraw their support for the rebels and render their allegiance to the United States. In 1901, the party could boast that it was responsible for the surrender of hundreds of rebels, chieftains, and guerrilla soldiers, and that it had gained more than 200,000 adherents. Taft, who had little enthusiasm for the other activities of the Federal Party, expressed his belief that the party's increase in membership was due to the urgent desire for peace on the part of all classes except the extreme nationalists who had escaped to the mountains. Membership in the Federal Party and advocacy of collaboration with the Americans were not without reward. The Americans were certain of the loyalty and cooperation of Federalistas, that for virtually all the Filipinos who occupied positions in the government during the first 7 years of American rule came from the Federal Party. Governor Taft pointed out that in the appointment of natives, the fact that a man was a member of the Federal Party was always a good recommendation for him for appointment. And if a man was in the Federal Party, it was fairly good evidence that he was interested in the government which we are establishing, and would do well as he could. Thus, the Federal Party enjoyed an exclusive monopoly of offices available to the Filipinos. Prominent members of the party were appointed to important positions in the government. Pardo de Tabera, Ligarda, and Luzuriaga were appointed members of the Philippine Commission. Arellano was appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, while Victorino Mapa and Florentino Torres were named Associate Justices. Consequently, the elitism that dominated Filipino society during the 19th century continued to prevail in the Philippines. The program of the Federal Party did not gain much support from the masses, whose overwhelming desire was complete independence. In 1906, when Governor Henry C. Aite lifted the ban against independence parties, several nationalist groups were established. These parties were divided into those who favored immediate independence and those who subscribed to the same goal but did not want immediate independence, and included in the platform on March 12. Sorry guys, mali-mali na. Kaya mo na lumagpas sa oras tayo ha. These parties were divided into those who favored immediate independence and those who subscribed to the same goal but did not want immediate independence included in the platform. On March 12, 1906, the political parties, being merely divided by procedural differences, merged into the present Nationalist Party. It stood for complete and immediate independence. So, hanggang dyan na lang ako guys kasi talaga yung nakalagay the lifting of the ban encouraged yun, putol na siya. So, wala na akong magagawa dyan. Ang gagawin ko na lang dito is basahin na lang natin yung pinaka-updated ng topic 15 natin. So, ibang version siya pero same siya dito. Parang pinaka-updated lang siya guys. Ganun. So, bago tayo pupunta dito sa drawing. Bye everyone. God bless.